I was drunk and broke my jaw in 3 places, literally hanging off the hinge on one side. I was climbing a fence with the cast on my arm, caught my lip ring on the fence, and fell on the other side straight onto a curb where the bottom of my teeth folded in, and I knocked out these 2 teeth in my bottom 2. I went to the hospital. They wired it shut, gave me a straw to sip mac and cheese and steak out of it, and then while I was wired shut, I was getting faded. The reason why I was in a cast was because I had violated the rules of conduct with the group of people that I was with while I was drinking. You would think that these 2 incidents would stop me from drinking ever again. But fast forward 5 years later, I go to prison for MTH. And then 24 hours after I'm out of prison, I'm doing it again. And so the question is, why do I keep doing that? What is the preceding thoughts? Why in the hell would anybody go back from not 1, not 2, but 3 traumatizing experiences? Not to mention all the other ones that didn't cause severe life-threatening situations. Now, this is insane. My name is Jonathan Keebler, and I have been seeking a solution for drug addiction and alcoholism for my entire life. My first drug use was at 10 years old. Fast forward, I started finding a real solution to my problem 11 years ago. And during that 11 years, I continued to relapse over and over again with various stints of sobriety. I have 7 years accumulated, but I can never stay sober for long enough. Never stay clean for long enough. So why do I keep doing it? My goal is to help you discover your truth and why you keep going back to your addictions. And if you are in recovery, or if you're a family member of recovery, of somebody who is in recovery, then how do you stay sober? I'm just going to share my experience with that and through this channel. And so I invite you to stick around, listen to my experience, listen to the solution that I have to offer, not for me, but so that you can maybe find help and maybe you can find a solution to the detrimental situations that you keep finding yourself in through your drug addiction or through your alcoholism. So let's go back to these 3 incidents. Why is it that no matter what I do, I seem to forget why I seem to forget the consequences of my actions that causes life-threatening situations, destruction to myself and the people around me? Why do I keep doing it? In humanity, we'll just start there. In humanity, there is something called a spiritual malady. Now, I don't care about anybody who says that there's no spiritual realm. I don't care about that. I don't give a shit. What I'm saying is that humankind has a spiritual malady. Like there's something missing from us, whether it's the way that we were raised, whether it's the society that we live in, none of that matters. The fact is we all have it. And for the drug addict and the alcoholic, our solution to that malady is to put drugs in our body. Now, our default is drugs and alcohol, unfortunately. Most other people, they don't do drugs and alcohol, but they do other things as a solution for their malady. So we're going to set that aside for a later video. Just know that everybody has a spiritual malady, but the drug addict and the alcoholic seeks the solution in drugs, the destructive path for everyone around them and themselves. So we'll start right there. In this journey, through this channel, I'm going to explore the mind, the body, the reactions to alcoholism, and then how to stay sober. 1, through the steps. 2, the family members who need to also recover and heal from the mayhem that the alcoholic and the drug addict has presented to the world. And we're going to start with my stories. I gave you 3 stories, and every single time I went back to the drugs and alcohol, I wasn't even thinking about the situation prior. So there's something in our brain called a peculiar mental twist. And this peculiar mental twist, what it does is, this was a term that was written back in 1939, almost 80 years ago. So thank you, Recovered and Free, for reframing that to an irrational thought turned rational. I'm not affiliated with them, by the way. That's just the rehab that I've been to. And I completely respect the 12 steps that they present there, the solution they present there. So what Dawn said was the insane thought turns sane. Like, think about that for a second. Insane thought turns sane. The insanity is the consequences that follow after drinking or getting high. The sanity would be not to do it. That would be the solution. Just don't do it. But this peculiar mental twist that I'm mentioning is my mind trying to find a solution to my spiritual malady. And as I said before, that solution is drugs and alcohol. Even though I had those consequences, like, I can't physically bring up the pain and the suffering that it caused. Instead, my mind likes to think of it as the golden days, the beautiful days. Man, this made me feel good. During the party days in my teenage years, like, there wasn't a lot of consequences. Sure, I got arrested a couple times for minor consumption, drug paraphernalia, stuff like that, but there wasn't really any concrete consequences. Some might call those concrete consequences, but for me, that was a normality growing up. And so my mind is physically incapable of bringing into the forefront of it the consequences that happen. And the big book talks about it. It says that we can't bring into the forefront of our mind the consequences of even, or the humiliation of even a week or a month ago. And this is true because our bodies physically can't remember the pain. Like, our nervous system protects us from that. And our pride protects us from knowing that, like, hey, we cannot control this. We cannot outsmart this thing. And so let's look at what this actually looks like in real life. So say that I am an MTH user. That's my default. Of course, that's illegal. That's illegal. What do you call it? The Schedule 1 drug. And so my brain is going to be like, well, you can't do that because look at all the stuff that you went to prison over it. But what you can do is amphetamine, right? You can take prescription drugs. And this is like basically saying my brain is telling me this one's worse than the other, where the behaviors and the thinking and the way that I show up in people's lives is exactly the same regardless of what I'm taking. What I'll do is minimize it and then do that. And somehow I end up doing the real thing. I'm not saying the other one isn't real, but like what I really want to do. Or I only drink because I can pass the drug test. Like, these are insane thoughts because of the prison, the broken jaw, the broken arm, the 15 staples in my head from that violating the code of conduct with those people. And you would think that I would be like, no, that's no good for me, just like anybody else would do. But here's the situation. Like, somebody who's not a drug addict or an alcoholic is also going to revert to something, their vice, their addiction. Like, let's just use an easy example. Watching TV, right? Watching TV is an escape. It's a solution to the discomfort that a person is feeling right now. And binge watching TV is that addiction. But the only thing is, like, there's no visible consequences from that. And so there's no irrationale that comes up behind it because it's not doing any harm aside from like wasting life away and watching somebody else live their own life or watching somebody else live their life on the TV. But for me, when I revert to my vice, to my normalcy, I end up destroying lives. I end up destroying my life. I end up destroying my children's lives. All of this peculiar mental twist is designed to get one in my body. And I'll talk about that in another video, what happens when it goes in the body. But the mind is a powerful thing. I mean, think about this. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how intellectually better you think that you are than other people. And it doesn't matter how daft you are either. It doesn't matter, because the same mind is going to think your way into getting whatever, what you want. So the smarter that I am, the more my brain can trick me and manipulate me and lead me down into this path. That's the peculiar mental twist at work, at its finest, is this idea that I have the ability to turn any irrational thought rational. And it doesn't even have to relate to drugs and alcohol. But for this specific video, I'm just going to relate it to drugs and alcohol. I will make a completely horrible idea sound perfect. I'm not going to put it in I'm just going to smoke it. Dude, like that is not, that's insanity, right? Because it's the same thing. But I knew a guy for a lot of years, and he was an alcoholic, but he had got addicted to Benadryl. Benadryl, of all things, it's over the counter. But his mind was telling him that it was just Benadryl. And this dude was taking like 20 Benadryls every single night. Now, if that's not getting you drunk, I don't know what is. But that's like the thinking that we have is we'll minimize things, we'll rationalize it, we'll justify it, we'll make it sound like a glorified idea, and then we'll turn around and convince the people around us that it's okay, because they don't have the experience that we do. They don't have the experience that putting anything at all into our body is going to set this allergy off. It's going to make me want more. So this peculiar mental twist shows up in very cunning ways. And that's why in the big book it says that alcohol is cunning, baffling, powerful, because like it shows up in ways that we can't even imagine ourselves. So then what's the solution to this, right? What if this peculiar mental twist convinces me and the people around me that it's okay to put whatever, it doesn't matter, Benadryl, into my body? What is the solution to it? What can you do? And if you've been sober for any good amount of time and you work a program, then you already know that the solution to this specific part is like having somebody check your mind. And there's a caveat to that. You have to be transparent about what you're thinking, regardless of how left field it is, regardless of how much pain you might think that somebody might be harmed from it. It does not matter. The thinking itself and the thoughts that come in there don't matter. It's the honesty that comes with it. So being able to be transparent about what I'm thinking to somebody, a sponsor, specifically, hopefully you have a sponsor if you're sober, then that person can like tell you the holes in the irrationale that you have, the insanity that you have, and be like, dude, that's not like a really good idea. And the same goes for if you're a man or a woman. Like you need a sponsor to be able to check your thoughts. And then you have to be willing to call that sponsor and get honest with them about, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Big booty Judy just like gave me the eyes and I want to go twist off around her or whatever. Like it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're being honest and transparent with your sponsor and they can point out whatever they need to point out that you can't see. And again, that's for another video. But like the thing about irrational thoughts turning rational is that they turn rational because I can't see the craziness that comes along with it. Like I got to get somebody to fact check this broken brain of mine. Now, I've been sober continuously for a year, and as I said, I've had 7 cumulative years over the last 11. So there's a certain point where I can trust my own thoughts, but like, dude, I still have to tell somebody about it, because the more I trust it, that's more space for my mind to convince me that, dude, you're good. You've been doing so good this long, like you can have a drink. It's a beer. It's not going to do anything. So the solution for the peculiar mental twist is get a sponsor to fact check your thoughts. And that is just a simple solution that you can have today. But I mean, obviously there's a whole lot more that I can get into regarding this, but I will save those for another video. But until then, remember, the peculiar mental twist is insane thought turned sane, and you need somebody to fact check those thoughts. Cool. I love y'all. Peace, and I'll see you next time.